Today I'm sitting with Alex Fasulo, who sold over 7 figures on Fiverr. That's absolutely crazy. So excited you came from Florida all the way here to Austin, Texas. And you get to drop all this amazing knowledge on your story, how you did that, plus all the other amazing things you do. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me, Adrian. Thank you for this artisan cocktail. I wish you guys could try it. It's very, very good. Yeah, I never imagined when I got on Fiverr in 2015, it would turn into what it has turned into for me. Never in a million years. I'm sure you feel the same way about a lot with your story. When I got on it, I thought I was only going to be making those, $5, $10, $15, and it has proven to be very different than that. That's very different.
That's so crazy. I think you're a living example, proving all the disbeliefs out there that as simple as a platform as like Fiverr, where traditionally you make $5, you've scaled it. And now that's not only just changed your life, but like I hear you, I don't know if I'm supposed to say this, but you have a book deal in the works.
Oh no, you can say that. They want me to say that.
Okay, good. You have a book deal in the works, like you're verified influencer, like everywhere.
And it's insane.
And like, it all started from Fiverr, essentially.
It started from me picking like this one unsuspecting thing and hitting it so hard, working so hard at it, being so consistent with it for 4 to 5 years, that it kind of like turned into this story for me that almost then took on a life of its own as a different business, right? Like it almost makes you a person of interest or an influencer. Everyone hates that word, but that is what it is in essence. And then it almost creates another business. So it's like you have the original, Fiverr one or the original affiliate marketing, but then you also have the brand of like Adrian Brambila too. And then it almost like splits into 2 businesses. And then the second business that splits off from it is like more immortal in a way. Like that's the one that kind of lives on. And it's all because I got on this site that so many people stuck their noses up to back then. When I told people that I was freelancing on Fiverr, a lot of people had a lot of things to say about it. And I think they were like, oh, poor Alex, she's probably making, $20K at a cafe every year. Oh, we'll just humor her. Like that was the consensus until 2018 when CNBC covered the story, and then that ruffled a lot of feathers.
That's awesome.
A lot of people got upset by that.
I feel like I love your content.
Thank you.
Ruffling feathers, I feel like is something we probably do on a daily basis.
Totally. We probably love it right now.
I know, maybe a little way. I mean, I think there's nothing wrong. I've never come across any of your content where you're sharing transparently how much money you've made and thought that it's some big flex. Like because of your story, because of your background, because of where you came from. And I think I would like to ask you, for those who don't know, like sometimes people see your content today, you're already successful, you have hundreds of thousands of followers, made 7 figures, most people have never done that. And so they're meeting you, but they don't know your story, how you got started, if you wouldn't mind sharing.
Sure. So I went to college, graduated a year early, and I took a job in Albany, New York in politics because I thought I wanted to work in politics. And I come from a farm, by the way. People always, want to hear where you actually came from. And I worked that job for a year, wanted to be more challenged. At that point, I was 22, and I applied to 150 to 200 different jobs in New York City to get accepted to one, because that was, at the time, what you had to do if you wanted to move to New York, out of nowhere, if you didn't get a job in college or something. One finally accepted me, moved there for it, PR job at a tech firm. People always ask me to name the firm. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it, guys. We're going to rise above here. Went to work at a PR firm. It was terrible. Terrible job, terrible atmosphere. I hated every second of it. And after 4 weeks, I quit it. No plan, no money. Everyone knows that part of my story. I had no effing idea what I was going to do, essentially. And I tried out like 10 different things in those weeks following quitting my job. Like I tried teaching social media classes, managing social media accounts, like doing social media consultations. And I actually did manage some social media accounts for people. I tried freelancing, website design. That went horribly for me. And I always say to people, freelance writing on Fiverr just happened to be what took off for me. Because they would say like, oh, why that? Why Fiverr? Why freelance writing? I'm like, because it just started to make me money. And I was in no position to like be picky about that. So, that really started to have some momentum build behind it. And after only 2 to 3 months freelancing on Fiverr, I was working my ass off, mind you, like 12, 14 hour days. but I was making $2K a month or so, and that was enough for me. Like, I was so happy with that. I was so happy doing that for like 2 years. You know, my income didn't explode until the third year. So for 2 years, I made $36K the first year, ironically, and that was what I was going to make at this horrible job, except I was actually happy. So I was like, cool, I'll make $36K every year the rest of my life and be totally fine with this because I am happy. Next year it jumped up to $68K. I was like, this is even better. $68K every year the rest of my life. What more could you want? I can travel, I'm happy. And then it was the third year when Fiverr launched Fiverr Pro, which a lot of people aren't aware exists. It's like this premier top 1% of the platform, and that's how I was able to start charging so much. And that was when my income quadrupled, I guess if you do the math on it, that year. And that's when people started getting upset or claiming I'm lying or something, because how does someone go from 68K to 273K in 1 year? Like that.
Amazing.
Yeah, it is amazing. I mean, I still every day, in a way, can't believe it, but a lot of people then claim, it's a lie or something.
Something you said is really interesting. I feel like you're a hustler like myself. I relate to you a lot.
Yeah.
You said you didn't know you were going to do freelancing scaling. You were testing different things.
Yeah.
You tried social media, and what made money was the freelancing. So if I dissect that, you were testing different offers.
Yes.
You were putting it out there on the internet. You were trying, and at the beginning, you did not know what was going to happen. And I feel like a lot of people starting out, they're already deciding before they prove the concept what they want to do. And you just were like, I'm just going to hustle and work and try. And it ended up being, I imagine you maybe had different gigs or different opportunities, and then, oh shoot, another gig closed for freelancing or writing.
Exactly.
And then more of those came. It's like, okay, now I'm going to focus and double down, and you doubled and quadrupled your income in a matter of short years, which is amazing. So that to me tells me that you're scrappy, which is, same as me, super entrepreneurial, and then you were adaptable to your own data, what was coming in. Your first gig, what was it?
The very first service I offered on Fiverr was a proofreading one. Like I just said, I'll proofread anything for $5. I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's half a book or a text message. I'll just do it. And funny enough, I had a lot of funny stories happen with the clients that I had, because some famous people trickle through Fiverr because it's anonymous, and they know, you can't say anything. They don't know who you are, and they can kind of make themselves anonymous. But I always told people the funny story in the beginning was I had someone from the royal family have me edit their text messages. Wow. I know. And Fiverr before, I've gone on to say that, and sometimes I think they don't want me to share that because I'm that's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. But that was funny. But yeah, I did it just for $5 flat. Wow. Flat. And I can't tell you how many people, when I told them that, they were like, you couldn't pay me to only work, Meanwhile, you take home $4, Fiverr takes the 20%. So people were so snooty to that. They're like, you're getting paid $4 for proofreading? That's not worth my time, that was always the attitude. And then suddenly it becomes very much worth your time.
Absolutely.
That moment, yeah.
Right. So again, you're long-term oriented. You're literally hustling and working 12 hours a day. You're putting in the grind.
Yeah.
And you quadrupled your income. So $68,000 a year, I think that's what you mentioned, is a lot of money. You can live a happy life. And then now you moved up from middle class to 1%, making over 200,000. How did that change your life? Did you go crazy shopping spree?
No.
What was that like?
It was a funny time for me when that happened, because in essence, I was really proud of myself, right? I was like, wow, this is amazing. But then there was almost a little bit of that imposter syndrome that sunk in, because I was only 25, and the reception I got from that CNBC article from some of the closest people in my life was really hard for me, because I thought everyone would be like, Alex, that's so cool. I naively didn't know it was going to make people actually mad at me, adults, teachers of mine. I didn't know it was going to trigger people so bad. So it's it was both a really good and really bad time in my life, simultaneously. I was proud of myself and what I had accomplished, but I also had so many people that I previously cared about not happy for me. And it was like this really funny crash course into human nature. I feel like after that year, I wouldn't say I became more cynical, but I've become a much more realistic person after I saw how people reacted to that. But yeah, because I had that kind of overarching almost like not shame, I don't know what it was. Like I was almost slightly embarrassed to share it because the reception was so weird from people that I kind of just went on another year or two just saving my money and doing nothing with it and like being afraid to post about it. Like I still was not posting about this on social media because I was afraid I was going to lose all my friends and all these people that were in my life. I didn't want to make them feel small because that was kind of like how they all made me feel with it. So it was like this, it was a really funny time for me. Like I felt like I had to hide it. And I felt like I didn't really start to own it until actually 2020 because of TikTok. And TikTok got my story out there like so aggressively and so many people started to follow me in support of it that I was like, wow, this is so dumb. I'm living my life right now like hiding this because 20 people were assholes. Like this is so silly. Yeah.
Wow, that's tough. Like you think that all your friends right now, or like before you made it, they're all, you know, they would say to your face like, oh, we're rooting for you, I want you to do well. But then when you actually do well and you escape the place that you were at and envy comes and jealousy and that that's a bummer that you had to experience and learn a lot of life lessons.
It all happened very quickly. I think that's what was tough about it. Like I was 25 when it all kind of started. Now I'm freshly 29 and the last 3.5 years, like the amount of hate and everything I've endured, like I just giggle now. I'm just like, oh, whatever. And I've worked really hard the last few years to create kind of like a new life and circle of people around me who I actually genuinely think are like supportive of what I'm doing. And it's taken me some years to do that. It's the hard side of this, you know. Of course, there's amazing sides to it. Last year is when I started to invest with my money and like buy big things with it, but I pretty much didn't do anything with it for 5 to 6 years.
Wow, so you saved everything.
I just saved it. I mean, not even well though. Like I didn't have it in any special accounts. Like it was just sitting there. It was almost like the money that I was making surpassed where my mindset and maturity was. Like it went up here and I was still back here. Like I needed time to catch up to it to feel that I knew how to responsibly manage it.
Wow.
It was like kind of scary almost.
That to me,
it's like with big whatever comes big responsibility, right? Like I'm like, oh my gosh, like people, it's not lost on me. Like so many people around the world would give anything to have money like this. Like this is amazing, thank you God. Like this is insane, but I want to make sure I'm not dumb with it. And I used to feel like I didn't know what I was doing.
Wow. Well, I think it's to have the foresight and maturity to understand that is different. Because young money for sure is a thing. Like you finally make enough money to have a Lambo, and you buy a Lambo before maybe take care of some other more important long-term things. So I'm curious now. You fast forward to today, your businesses are crushing it, and now your income is even greater than back then. What are you doing right now? Do you feel like, are you all invested into that grind and hustle? Have you been able to maybe focus and reprioritize like what's important to you? Do you have your time, or are you like right now you're still feel like I'm still in hustle mode because I'm thinking about getting to this level?
Yeah, it's funny. So it was July 2021 is when I officially came out of hustle mode after 6 years of not taking a single day off, like a single day. And that is partially because my best friend, who's back there right now, started to work with me. She quit her job and I immediately was like, I need to hire you. Don't go anywhere. And her background's a CPA, finance. So I was like, come here, get over here. And pretty much that was the first time starting in July when I could wake up on a Saturday morning and not immediately grab my phone and like, oh no, like what fires do I have to put out? I just could be for like a couple hours. And I've been, what is it now, February almost, it's been 6-7 months of it. I've been out of hustle mode. And it's been a funny time for me because I definitely am almost like learning myself again and what matters to me now. Because I was in that like hustle, like blind hustle, for 6 years. I want to hit this on Fiverr. I want to hit this goal, and I worked so hard for it. And then when you hit the goals, you're like, now what? Now what's next? So I'm kind of in that funny, not like reevaluating, but I'm just in a like holding pattern right now, just seeing what's next for me. But I am definitely like reevaluating what's important now, because I can. I mean, that's a luxury of working your ass off for 6 years. You get that rest period then.
Wow, I did not know that, because I honestly feel right now I'm also in a transition stage.
Yeah.
Like no more nomading, traveling in one place.
Right.
And I'm also trying to figure out what is it that I want to do. Because sometimes, believe it or not, to everyone listening, more money is not always the answer.
No.
So right now I'm thinking about there's other business I could do, but it would take a lot more of my time. Do I want to make that commitment? And for you, hiring your best friend, right?
Yeah.
That's amazing. Do you scale out your team? I think your book is something I remember talking to you. That made you excited at the thought of maybe writing more books even after this, right?
That's definitely something that ever since I was little, like I've known that's what I'm gonna do. At some point in my life, I knew it when I was like 4, when I'd be writing short stories and like poetry in my bed. So getting that book deal last year was really emotional for me. I was like, wow, like life is nuts. Like it can be horrible, it can be unfair, it can be so sad at times, but if you stay focused and work your ass off and like stay true to who you were when you were 4 years old, like you can make anything happen. And a lot of people will hear that and go, that's not true, you just got lucky, whatever. None of this is luck. I'm sure you know, not a single second of it was luck. It was just being stubborn. But yeah, no, I'm writing the book now, and that's definitely like a new thing for me to write for myself, because I've only ever written for other people the last 6 years. So that's a very like cool thing for me. I would love for that to turn into an ongoing 15, 20, 25 books. So there's a little pressure on how this first book does for me and how many it sells. They're kind of watching type of thing. And I think once I write it, I'm proud of it, it's out there, and I work my ass off to have it sell as much as it can, I'm gonna like breathe almost, because then I won't really have to prove myself again to them with it. So that's like the like pressure that's looming still.
I love it. Alex, you're an inspiration.
Thank you,
Where
Adrian.
can people follow and learn more about you?
Everywhere. If you look up Alexandra Fasulo on just about any social media site, I pop up. A really helpful tool too, free tools I have for people. My podcast, The Freelance Fairy Tales, basically crash course into freelancing if you guys are into that. And my Facebook group, Freelancing Mentorship with Alexandra Fasulo, is 22,000 people in it now. Insane.
Wow.
And people help each other every day. So if you're getting started freelancing, definitely join those 2 things.
Perfect. And then I'll also mention you're a guest instructor in the Brambila Method.
Yes.
People love your section, and then so many people then go to
Fiverr.
Go to your course as well.
Oh, okay.
And, your training, they love it. So for sure, it's been awesome working with you. I can't wait to see what else we do in the future. But
Hell yeah.
Cheers. Thanks for being here.
Thanks, Adrian.
I'll ask. Wait, one more question for the ending blooper reel. Chances of you moving to Austin, Texas?
Oh my God. There's a 100% chance that I move here part-time. How's that?
I'll take it. Cheers.
Spoken like someone who went to school for political science.